Anyway, hello and welcome back to another episode of Boys Gone Wild. We are back. I am drinking today because tonight I'm going to go see Tim Dillon very soon after this. So
where?
Shepherd's Bush,
Yeah.
Forum O2. Yes, I don't like Shepherd's Bush. I don't like West London in general.
There's too much
There's
open
space.
space.
There's a quiet death about it.
Yeah.
Not a loud death like there is in East London.
No.
It's a quiet death, a slow fade away.
Who
I
you
find the
going?
whole Shepherd's Bush area is kind of, I don't know. Obviously, like the Notting Hill, there's parts to it that are nice.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start heading out west, it starts really.
And you go
getting
there
into,
expecting to see some naked farmers, but you don't get any. That is a Shepherd's Bush pun.
Yeah. That's pretty good. But yes, in East London, I posted my story last night about the screaming foxes or cats.
Foxes.
Foxes.
Cats don't make noises like that.
And that's sort of a reality that we've sort of come to terms with, but it is pretty insane, the noises that they make.
One of the first nights we were here, me and Taha both faced the garden where all the fox sex parties happen, and the first time I heard it, I obviously just went straight into the garden thinking, what in the world? Like, concern for a neighbour's safety. Mostly like a neighbour's child's safety.
Were you in your Crocs with a
I was in my
with
Crocs
a poker?
and nothing else on. And the fireplace poker, yeah. For the non-existent fireplace that we have, I just have one just in case. What is all the racket? Cutting a very scary image. Because I'm the first one to react.
Down in there,
yeah.
as if you're using it for
Excuse me, I'm trying to sleep.
Got a toilet plunger.
But he came down. I came out and he came down. We were both like, and it was a genuine question. We were like, is someone torturing a child? And then eventually,
Which is not a discourse you want to be at all reasonable.
It was like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
It's a Tuesday night.
Yeah. You can't be torturing
You
a
can't
child.
be torturing
That's
children. Think about your neighbours.
That's weekend activity.
Exactly.
If it's Saturday, up until midnight. Do you know what I mean?
Some people have to get up for work in the morning.
So you could torture a child, but as soon as it hits 1 a.m, then it's all right. I know it's a weekend, but you got to put that kid away.
That's enough. Knocking on the door being like, can you guys keep it down?
Yeah. Well, like Fred West, you're next to Fred West's house. Guys, like, I know you. Look, I'm not here to keep shame, but just
look. It's what you do in your own house is your own business. But like, some of us have got work tomorrow. But no, it's an abhorrent noise. I befriended a fox recently. Another one.
Yeah, you seem to take a lot of pride in being this sort of fox whisperer.
I'm any kind of animal whisperer.
Yeah,
and I take pride when there's truth.
You take pride when there's any possibility to take pride is a potential.
Are you just calling me arrogant?
Yeah.
No, I'm just happy about. I enjoy befriending animals, and
you enjoy telling people about your befriending animals.
Who am I telling? Yeah, all of them. Well, we're talking about
slightly
foxes.
Over 1,000 people.
We'll put this picture up because I know you love editing things into it. But can you actually put it up this time? Because I'm fed up of saying put this picture up and you don't put the picture up. But this is the fox that I very recently. Look at this guy. He might be the cutest fox you've ever seen. Look how furry he is.
Yeah, it's pretty furry. Yeah.
There's a crazy furry fox. Look how close he is. I gave him some cheese.
Do you another one? Is it another cheese guy?
Yeah. Foxes like cheese.
So there's a back garden that's surrounded by all the houses with the house that doesn't seem to fit into our neighbourhood.
Let's not talk about that again. I still can't get over it.
They've got a giant garden surrounded by all sides. It's not clear where the entrance to the house is. There's weirdos who seem to live there.
Who never open the curtains
never
at
open
any
the
point,
curtains.
ever.
In their garden, it seems to be fully colonised by a family of bondage foxes.
Yeah.
These are foxes who seem to have group sex regularly. Like
take party drugs.
Take party drugs. Because I guess when foxes have sex, the noise is similar to being
raped
or
is,
killed.
Yeah. I haven't actually done enough research into it, but is it because fox sex is rape?
With the brutality of the animal kingdom, I wouldn't be surprised.
Look, we can't rule anything out.
But I also terrifying. It just that it was pretty ridiculous last night.
So it wasn't that bad. Some of them are a lot
because
louder.
Your room's right there.
Yeah. Some of them go on for a lot longer and are a lot louder.
Because Andrew's downstairs and
because of my ability to protect the household.
Yeah, Andrew's kind of like the groundsman. Me,
true, yeah.
Tara, and Adam live on the top floor.
Yeah.
Above all of this.
I switch off all the lights and make sure we pay the bills and live downstairs.
Andrew gets the most mice in his room.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one fighting off the first wave of attacks of the kind of wild animals that seem to. We're in the middle of London. You'd think the one thing you'd be safe from is loads of wild animals. But I've seen more animals in this house than I have my whole time living in the countryside.
Yeah, it's the difference between living in a nice house and a bad house. It's got nothing to do with location. Mice are everywhere. It depends
very
about
much,
how well the house
it's a
is
lot.
built.
You know, you've got to have sharp elbows just to kind of try and make a surviving for yourself by just.
Yeah, I've given up with the mice. Frankly,
the
apparently
mice
this
aren't
is gonna,
they aren't too bad though.
Yeah, they are.
Because they're friendly. They're not rats.
Yeah. Well, when
You
the
know.
guy came over, he was like, "Yeah, these are rat droppings." Yeah. It's fucking terrible. You don't want it when you're sleeping.
No.
Which has happened one too many times.
Has it can't run over you ever?
No. Oh my god. That's when I'd call Nick, our landlord.
Yeah.
And we're gonna name him on there because
we're
he's actually fucking shit. He's terrible. But there's a tactic actually in being such a terrible landlord that you just don't really address any of the problems the person's saying, and then we'll just give up. I can't be bothered anymore. I was threatening a rent strike.
You know, we're obviously not making enough to live somewhere nicer, so we obviously don't have the sort of
resources
or concentration.
Yeah.
Like kind of
he knows
attention
it's a cheap house
to keep going with an email chain.
Yeah,
he knows that because when you're paying what we're paying, he knows that we're the kind of people who won't email over twice about an issue.
I have.
Yeah,
but that's that. He might reply, "Well, why do you think it's so cheap? The mice are also paying rent."
Oh, that'd be a great line.
That'll be a great line. I'd be, you know what? Yeah. Open the doors, let them in. You've won, Nick.
But yeah, so outside of there's a creepiness to this house actually, especially at night. It's not like, I think in the summer it's fine, but it can get creepy when you got the fox sex parties. You got the mice going around, and then just it gets very dark very quick.
The crime that happens at the front of the house as well.
Yeah.
And people stop and have really loud conversations in front of our door. There was one when does it happen with you? Because it happens all the time when I'm home alone.
Yeah.
I heard some people knock at the door. It was like 10 p.m. It was just me in the house. They knocked at the door, and I was like, I'm just going to ignore that because nothing good can come from a 10 p.m. knock.
Yeah.
And I just heard two blokes having a conversation outside of it for ages, and I was like, well, I think I'm about to get robbed.
Yeah.
And then eventually they scurried away after I peered out the window.
That's creepy. You didn't tell me that.
I actually kind of forgot about it.
That's fucking scary as shit.
Yeah.
What are they
I
doing?
actually forget to tell a lot of people a lot of things, I've realised.
Yeah, because you're the groundsman. You're the one.
I am. I'm the one who I should do a newsletter, a weekly newsletter.
Well, you're the one on the ground. You're dealing with most of the shit. You're being attacked from all ends. You've got mice running from inside
crime
the
in
house.
the front, mice in the back.
You've got foxes out the back. And you've got...
Bulb on the laptop, Nick on the emails. It's terrible. God, I need to submit that meter reading.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Are we going to pay more energy bills?
Yes.
Yeah. How much more?
Well, this isn't very interesting.
No, but it's
relatable
to.
Yeah, so I thought we're in a lot of credit on our account because we've overpaid basically.
Yeah.
Because I didn't take it down over summer, so we wouldn't have like too much of a fluctuation. It's just been standard since we got here.
So we that's what I thought. So.
We're in a good amount of credit, but I looked into this and they have increased the minimum you can pay, and that takes it over what we've been paying. It increases it. I think we're going up 40 quid, so we'll be £10 more each.
Okay, that's actually not too bad because the way people are talking about energy bills is like this is the thing that's tipped them over the edge.
Well, it's in combination with the fuel crisis, and we don't drive.
Yeah.
So and general cost of living.
Yeah, cost of living has got bloody mental.
Yeah, well, it's being hit by so many different events.
Yeah,
there's just too many different events. I just think
going to co-op, and because obviously
food shortages, they're still happening. The amount of times I try to order a ham and cheese sub roll from Sainsbury's when I'm getting a delivery Monday shop of all my shit, and it just doesn't. It's not there,
mate. When you try and now I've discovered the joy of ordering groceries. God, it's absolutely barren. It's a barren wasteland when you're trying to find anything. Yeah, and I don't know if this is normal or how what it was like before, but I do remember being pretty sure that most of the basic stuff would be there when they get there. Now it's like I'll eat what's there.
Yeah.
Whenever I go shopping, it's like, well, I'll try and have
Seems
what's available.
choice has evaporated.
which is slightly nice.
It's
you know.
like a
I think
school
we
dinner
had,
when you go into a supermarket. It's like, this is what you're having. It's like, okay, I guess I'll have carrots and an old fish for supper.
That is true. Yeah, and to be fair, I was complaining about the amount. One of the problems is the proliferation of choice in capitalism does give you a lot of. It doesn't centre you.
I forgot that we've had that conversation.
Yeah,
and now look at us.
Now I'm like, fucking, I wouldn't mind a bit more choice, to be honest. You know?
We have no morality, do we? We
Not
just
at all.
swing and sway. It's just not being happy with anything. I guess that's part of the thing about doing a podcast, maybe. You've got to be constantly outraged.
You've got to constantly...
Just critiquing.
You've got to constantly critique. Constantly
just can't go on here and say everything's great.
And people only listen because we're unqualified.
Oh, exactly.
That's the only reason. They're like, I'm getting ready for work. I don't want to listen to someone who has read about an issue.
True, yeah.
I don't have enough brain
I'm on
power.
the train on the way to work. It's a pretty common place where people listen. You don't. You just want two people talking absolute shit. Which is what you get.
Shit.
Just, how about
feigning anger about issues.
Well, I mean, there was a point at the earlier stage of the podcast where we used to have more of a, we'll have a nice, fun comedy 20 or 30 minutes and then we'll do like a serious issue. We used to talk quite seriously. That has completely evaporated. I think for the best.
I think for the best.
Definitely.
I think more people should take our lead.
Absolutely. Just don't talk about anything. Talk about something, but not really.
I would like Newsnight to have just like randomly selected thing and you find out the topic. Like I'd love to go on Newsnight and they tell me the topic just before I go on.
Oh, let's go. Yeah. No stats. No pre.
There's a half an hour.
That's cheating.
And they just say that you just have to talk, about what's going on in Yemen.
And
you're like,
you get a certain amount of celebrities and thinkers in a hat, and they pick them out who's coming on before the show. So it's everything's randomised. The topics, the guests, the expertise. Anything can fucking happen. Because fundamentally, no one knows
you get
about
the celebrity to debate with you, so you're both debating back and forth.
Yeah, that's Newsnight, yeah.
That's a good show.
Okay, is this what?
That's a good show. Where you have you get two random celebrities who do TV shows like that anyway, and then you pull out a debate.
When you say, do you mean like game comedy shows or
a
like
game comedy show?
And then you have a debate.
A game comedy show.
It's not far off. Like, have I got news for you?
Is it?
Yeah, it's just.
What do they debate?
Well, I guess it's not debating.
What do they
debate? But you mean an actual one takes for, one takes against?
It's a for and against.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you get the for and against, and you know.
The Great British Debate Off.
Yeah. That's fucking amazing.
Oh, we can't say this shit on here.
No, we can't.
Because one of these pigs will take it.
Well, it's been timestamped, the Great British Debate Off.
Yeah.
It does exist as a patent.
And we have very fast working lawyers. He's sitting right there. He's patenting it now. Just furiously. We don't have a producer. We just have a lawyer.
You've got to prioritise. The Great British Debate Off,
yeah.
where you get to see Philip Schofield.
Me and you are the vigilators.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Debate gun crime with
I don't
Gino
know
De Campo.
Gino De Campo, perfect.
I'd like to see that.
Very This Morning heavy.
Yeah, admittedly it wasn't, I don't know why when I'm trying to think of minor celebrities, my head just goes blank. Can we just get a couple? Can you just put a couple in a hat?
Vicky Patterson.
I don't fucking, okay.
Keith Lemon.
Yeah,
I don't know what.
Still Keith Lemon.
It's still
linked to Holly
James
Willoughby.
Martin, the celebrity chef.
Don't know him.
That's a hilarious show. Okay. I want to see James Martin debate gun crime because he's
James Martin. Who's he debating it with?
Let's
just get come on.
Just fucking. Who's on TV show? I don't watch any TV shows.
Fucking Well, you do.
No, I don't anymore.
Yeah. Because then you can have comedians on.
Well, I don't want a comedian. I want
Joey Essex. You kind of want just like
Joey Essex is too obvious. It's someone just like some. I want celebrities past their 40s who don't do comedy.
Yeah.
It's a strange brief to put out, but
and then maybe to try and I guess with the modern comedy TV show, a game show, you've got to make it visually a bit more exciting. So I reckon you have them suspended above a thing of water, and whoever loses, bang.
Hilariously, I was literally about to interrupt you and say the loser gets slimed.
Yeah, slime. Falls into a thing of gunk.
Gunk. And then we get the kids in as well, kids audience as well.
Yeah,
it's fun for the whole family. Prime time.
And it's a way of getting the kids' brains starting to work about big issues.
Every time they make a worse point, they go lower into the slime.
No, because they go higher. because they get dropped from a higher height.
And then once they hit a certain height, they're released into the slime. That's better. That's definitely better.
If you slowly lower them in, that's less of a thing.
Yeah, but then they'll get like slimier.
But that's quite funny if it's like they're lowering up there until
until they can't breathe. And it's a death show.
Yeah.
It's a fight to the death. Debate to the death show.
Yeah.
The Great British Debate Off.
These are all great ideas. I'm a big fan of these.
Well, because the dream for us as well is to just come up with an idea like Taskmaster. Just do it, present it, and make millions of pounds.
Yeah, just get people buying it all around the world.
It's
just incredible.
Just for one. I think we could make a
I
game
wouldn't even
show.
want to be involved with it.
No, I don't think I
just
would
want the idea to go.
But then I feel like I would, because for the game shows we've come up with, i.e. the one where you have to guess how far you can jump onto a concrete platform.
What, you mean jump?
Jump.
Yeah.
And there was another one.
No, it wasn't guess how far. It's much better than that. It was... oh, yeah, I guess it was. It's yeah.
That's exactly what it
is. Because I jump on
We came up with some alternatives, but...
Jump, if for those of you who don't know, is a game show idea where you get two people, probably random people, and you have to guess how far up you can jump from like a diving board, and you can it's electric, so you can put onto a slab of concrete.
But once you go up, you can't go back down, and you're contractually obliged to jump. From
and you can't see what the other person jumped from. Yeah, and
we get like 20 contestants on each show,
and if you win, the money you get is from the other person.
Yeah, you drain their bank accounts. So again, you don't know how rich the people you're playing with, so how worth the risk is for breaking the legs or dying.
All that's clear is if you lose, you are losing everything.
Yeah, because there is definitely death potential here.
Yeah, because that's something that we think was missing from a lot of these games. Is like there's a lot of potential to gain, but not a lot of potential to lose, apart from losing face. We want financial losses.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, yeah, like the wall and stuff.
Win a Ford Fiesta, give up your car.
Lose your house.
Spend 2 weeks in the Maldives, work for 2 weeks doing dishes at a hotel in the Maldives.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just think there's a lack of jeopardy on game shows.
Yeah.
And it will make them so much more watchable.
As a society, I think it's exactly the kind of turn we should take.
Because it's just imagine...
I think TV should be nastier.
It should be so much meaner. It should be so much meaner because it's watchable.
Considering everything that's going on, people need a break. People need to see people...
People need some, hardcore entertainment.
Hardcore? Not light. Not House of Games.
No.
House of calling each other names.
I want, in the final round of a game show, it to be you can either win £1 million or you owe the BBC £1 million. It's as simple as that.
We talked about that, and it's just like generational debt.
Yeah.
For these people who might not make $1 million in the next 20, 30 years, maybe not in their lifetimes, that goes on to their kids.
That goes on to their kids. Fucking deal with it, man. Don't apply to be on the show because you still get some people applying to be on the show. They'll still go out there.
Yeah.
There might be some safeguarding issues.
What do you mean with people who have gambling addictions?
Well, people who, as in, if there was a potential to owe the BBC £1 million, I don't think anyone should go on the show.
What do you mean safeguarding though?
Safeguarding people from themselves.
Well, I don't think that's...
What I'm saying is...
I'm saying if you introduce that as an idea, then I don't think that's at all relevant or crosses their mind.
I was about to say, yeah.
If this is the scenario where people can owe the BBC £1 million, I think you've given up very much on people's well-being long ago.
Yeah, no, it is true. I don't think the safeguarding team have much they can actually do in this game show. My other game show was that...
My other game show.
I'll appear in your heart.
This is the jingle setting you up.
It's called My Other Game Show.
It's after we've been talking about game shows,
and
then Andrew suggests a different one.
No, so on this one, there's 5 contestants, and they each take turns being the judge. The other 4 then have to participate in a task. Let's say they're playing Twister. Now, one of them desperately needs a wee, and it's the job of the judge to guess the person who needs the wee. The points I'm yet to work out, but that's the fundamentals of it. There'll be points assigned if you guess it correctly. If you're the person that needs the wee that manages to conceal it, and there'll be something for the other 3 who don't. I think it could be a team-based game. It's hard to say at the moment. Yeah. But you're seeing shit like "Is It a Cake or Not" come out. You've seen that,
which has been a big hit. Lots of people. I've heard people talk about it, saying it's actually really good.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, I haven't heard the same.
Have you heard it's really bad?
I heard the SNL presenter guy is really annoying and not very funny. but I'm sure he hasn't been written. The jokes he's been written aren't very good, but who knows? But it did. I watched.
Is it a cake? It feels like a breakthrough in TV. It feels like we've entered a different.
It's a TikTok phase, because is it a cake is a common TikTok thing.
Yeah, it feels like we've broken through into a different form of media where the fight from TV to stay relevant has to now deal with the nonsense of TikTok.
Yeah, and they're learning a lot from
really pushed in.
Japan.
Yeah, Japan have been doing this for years.
They've been doing this for years. Just they've understood the futility of game shows, and they're just like, we might as well do anything.
What I want, which Japanese shows do a lot, because I used to see, there's like a couple of clips I've seen of Japanese shows. For example, would be they'll get like 3 Premier League, La Liga, like top footballers. Like I think even one had Messi in them, and it'd be those three top footballers.
Seeing how far they can jump off a platform.
No, it wasn't that. It was to be them playing football against 100 6-year-olds.
Yeah, I've seen those.
And it's amazing, and it's just as good as you thought, because there's 3 of them just running around when you got all these.
That is great. Yeah, I've seen that.
There was a prank show where one of the pranks was someone's walking. Whenever someone walks down this alley, they have 100 people waiting around the corner, and they all start charging down the alley.
Oh, it's just great.
That's brilliant.
Now,
Takeshi's Castle, obviously,
which speaks for itself.
So I'm just the thing that's missing from Western game shows is the funniest thing for me personally is loads of people.
Scale.
I think loads of people being manipulated as of forces and groups is really funny.
Yeah, our prank shows are far too light on numbers,
and it speaks of the individualism, the materialism, the consumerism of the West, is that we focus so much on the individual experience. I think game shows should be more of a collective thing.
Yes,
get groups of 100 versus another group of 100.
It'll help employment as well.
Yeah.
Do you remember
because of the morale boost of such good shows?
I'm gonna go and get a job.
No. Watching Takeshi's Castle.
Do you remember You've Been Framed? Yeah,
I do. And
how fucking dead is that shit?
Absolute.
How dead?
I mean, it's gone so far. It shows how far TikTok has taken us.
Yeah.
You've Been Framed.
But if I
doesn't
might
even scratch the surface of a good TikTok.
I might be wrong.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure it's still on TV.
I don't think so.
I've seen it on. I'm sure I've seen it. Can you check? Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, you're right, because it preceded the growth of the internet.
It was videoed. It was the beginning.
It's camcorder footage.
Yeah, it was.
Do you remember when your dad had a camcorder and he might be filming you going down a slide, and then your trunks might have suddenly come off? That was all it was.
Remember this. When did this happen?
Did he not pull your trunks down and then film you before you went down the slide and said, "This is for You've Been Framed. It's not for my child sex ring"?
Okay, it's still going.
It's still going. And now, how can that show still be going in the age of the internet? And how can Harry Hill maintain relevance?
All right, so it goes up to 2018, but it says it doesn't have an end point to the thing.
That's the most terrifying thing I've ever heard.
What? That it's still on?
That You've Been Framed doesn't have an end point.
It doesn't. It goes season 30, and then season 30, and then a question mark. Okay, because it doesn't know how far it's going to go. The fact that it's done, that is for old grandparents. I think that's for care homes. You've Been Framed. Because I can't really think of whatever other generation would watch that. It's such...
Yeah.
And I do think TV's at a very...
Yeah.
It's a very tough moment because of TikTok, because of the surprising quality of TikTok from being considered this app that was viewed as just trash to now being
child pornography.
Or just, just flippantly referred to as that.
Yeah,
and now it's got such better stuff than TV.
Yeah.
TV,
so much better.
I'm kind of excited to see how TV's going to deal with it, because it's still a money game, and they're going to throw out some final punches before they eventually die. I mean, I recently saw a play, speaking of mediums and the changes of that, and every now and again, like it was a very cheap tickets to see James McAvoy and Cyrano de Bergerac. And if I'll try and, going to the theatre is like, sort of like having like a health cleanse. It's like, it's more about, it's more feeling like, I should.
It's an image thing.
Yeah, you should go, it's a good thing to do, it's
I
not.
do like it when I go.
When you last time you went?
Fucking ages ago.
Yeah, exactly. So
unless you're counting amateur dramatic musical theatre.
No, I'm not counting amateur. That's way above theatre.
True, yeah.
That's
I think I might actually enjoy to go to those.
You haven't been to that many plays though. Sorry to slag you off.
Wow.
Sorry to.
What, in front of everyone?
Yeah, Because you have this whole... Every time we spoke about it, it's like, you like the theatre. You went to Hamlet and you enjoyed it, and that's based your entire belief.
No, I've been to a few. I don't remember the names of these things, but I haven't been to loads of plays. No.
Yeah. And I used to be really into theatre and thought that was something I'm interested in. And then, every time I get an opportunity, I'll try and go. I won't search it out, but if I find it, because I'm just like, right, I'm going to give theatre another go, and it'd normally be about a year.
Yeah. And
it's always a crock of shit. It's nearly always... I'm actually going to go see To Kill a Mockingbird, the one with written by Aaron Sorkin, with Rafe Spall in it.
Yeah.
Which has been very well reviewed. That should at least be good. But this thing was...
You'd hope so.
This play was very well reviewed, and I went with our friend Martha and a lot of her theatre-y friends, and I'm always like, if there's a bit of buzz around a play, I always think it's gonna at least be different and interesting, or play up to just kind of exciting in some way. I went in with I was ready to be like blown away by a show. It was a crock of shit.
You didn't manage your expectations.
I didn't manage my expectations, but also...
What is the golden rule on Boys Gone Wild? Also,
I still think there's so much more potential in the media theatre to deal with the modern world for people our age than there currently is. Not only is the tickets nearly always like £100, and it's a far lower success rate of enjoying theatre than it is going to the cinema, because most theatre has at the moment is absolute shit, because it's that sort of way of speaking, the sort of drama GCSE style smugness in its own modes of theatre.
I see the smugness.
Which I'm like, okay, I understand we've become a lot more self-aware, but theatre should find a way of dealing with that, and I always think they will have dealt with that. When I come back and it's meant to be, this is an urban look on an old French story called Cyrano de Bergerac about a very skilled poet who's super ugly.
Well, the whole thing was that he has a big nose. And I remember I woke up I'd been asleep for a couple of hours, woke up needing a wee at like pretty late, and then came in and you were in the kitchen after coming back from the play, and I was like, how was it? And you were like, that was terrible. I was like, do they have a big nose? And you were like, no, he didn't have a big nose. And I remember just coming back into my room after wee, and I was like, I should have had a big nose.
Yeah, so he was meant to have a big nose, and they didn't. They just implied it. Fine. I mean, I get it. Every other production of it, he's had a big nose, so they thought,
I'm going there for the big nose, man. I'm going there for the big nose. There's a whole fucking point in play.
And also, he was the best looking of the whole cast, because it's James McAvoy playing
Had to give him a big nose.
Yeah, at least have some sort of
grotesque nose.
Distinct, but they tried to imply it. But it was like they did this whole kind of like minimalist set, and because it was set in sort of like urban Paris, like the Balières, what are they called? I assume it's the suburbs of Paris.
Different, like the outer zones.
Yeah. And whenever theatre tries to do something urban, it's just fucking... It's like... And
fundamentally, it's not run by urban people.
Yeah, and it's
theatre
like,
traditionally hasn't been the most urban.
And but there's ways to do it that aren't so like...
Yeah. It's a lot of throwing gang
signs.
And
it's like, this doesn't feel fucking...
Yeah, it doesn't feel very urban.
It doesn't feel very
sitting in the Theatre Royale, munching on some Maltesers.
And it's the feeling that your Radio 4 fucking 6-year-old audience will be like, that's a bit exciting. It's like, that takes away from it.
This is very street.
Yeah, you know. But
thinking
they do the same thing everywhere.
And
they tried to think of this minimalist set, which is like, look, in 2010, I get it. But we kind of moved past that, where it was all just classroom chairs with a blank background, and they sort of like...
Were you just watching Annie? That's a classroom thing.
I don't know. You know my musical knowledge.
Come on. That's enough.
Yeah, I guess so. And it was it was all done in spoken word, pretty much, which, as you know, is the worst art form.
That's tough.
3 hours.
How long was the question?
Hours.
3 hours of spoken word.
Yeah.
That's what 3 hours of spoken word is worse than 3 hours of just singing.
Yeah, I agree. Spoken word is the worst art form. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily have to be,
because it pats itself on the back whilst performing it.
It's literally a fella going like this.
Wasn't that good?
Yeah. And look, spoken word, obviously, conceptually, you could turn it into anything.
Well, it's just language.
It's just language. It's just, so you can't disregard a whole medium, surely.
We're speaking word now.
No. The art of spoken word, I understand if you're like, you can't disregard a whole medium just because of it. But you can.
We can.
Because every single example of spoken word sucks ass. I know this person's really cool. Listen to it properly.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks ass.
Do you remember the fucking period, and I think it still exists, where there were loads of long hair guys on Facebook doing spoken words which verged on raps because there was maybe a slight beat behind it. How they just said how school's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, oh my God. And it would be like a video of them in a car. And it's like...
When am I going to use Pythagoras' theorem?
Yeah, it's fucking lame as shit.
And I was like...
And people would be like, whoa.
I quite like Pythagoras' theorem, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, people... There's a lot of backlash.
They'd be like, yeah, this is true. Do you remember that guy? He was quite small and he used to rap. There was two that I remember. One was a really long-haired guy who had brought like a... emo/gothic rap/spoken word thing to why school was lame because they didn't tell you how to do their taxes.
It was.
And then, but there was another
bait
guy.
point, and also it's like if someone has learning difficulties and is bad at exams, it's actually because they're a genius.
It's just exactly.
And it's that common thing. It's like just because he doesn't learn like this doesn't mean he's an idiot. Fair enough. But a lot of the time they are dumb. I'm just saying. Like I've got learning difficulties. I'm not a traditional learner. But, most people who do bad, they are kind of thick as shit,
I wonder, you could have turned to spoken word instead of comedy.
Yeah, easily. And that's what terrifies me so much about it as an art form, is I know in a parallel universe, I was a nauseating spoken word artist. What a horrendous way to get your ideas out. Yeah. Just the whole form of it, what's it called? The affectation in the voice.
Yeah.
From head to toe. And it's the way that it's encouraged to discuss society and big ideas in what seemingly is the lamest form. But lacks any self-awareness.
It's the confidence in your own points.
Yeah.
There's no room for, I might be wrong with this. This is gospel because it's spoken in a spoken word manner.
The kind of people who are drawn to it are people who aren't particularly smart,
Massive idiots.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's a very true point of just seeing those two people and I think about it. It's like, if you don't like school, I don't know, just get a hobby or something for a bit. Just do something else for a bit. It's fine. You don't have to.
No, because he's trying to solve the school system.
No, he's angrily saying that it's school's fault, not me, for being dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's fine. Yes, traditional education doesn't suit everyone, but just get on with it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. You don't have to get so angry at Pythagoras.
Yeah,
it's an important thing. It's an important thing to have.
Not for you, you big fat dummy.
Now get out. Now don't make a YouTube video shouting about it.
Yeah, okay.
That's it.
But yeah, I was disappointed, and then they all liked it, which shocked. I mean, BB was really embarrassing. She fell asleep for the whole last half of it, just flat out. She was completely just gone, and we were both pretty excited.
Well, she often falls asleep at dinner as
she's
well.
Fucking, and she's been in plays.
I've seen some head in the soup situations.
She's fucking. It was and that I didn't know. It was a mix of people. I didn't know barely anyone there. They were all Martha's new theatre friends.
Did you attempt to wake her up?
I didn't know she was asleep, and then I found out that she had been asleep. I did actually at one point, but then she went straight back. But that was like an hour and a half. She was just out cold.
So she wasn't enjoying it?
No, not at all. She was fucking out like a light. And everyone thought it was like really good, the staging and stuff like that. And it's like, fucking, this fucking sucks. But same with spoken word, theatre could be fucking great.
Mm.
It is a blank canvas. Any art form can be great.
Like musicals can be great.
Of course they can be great.
It's just the Book of Mormon was fucking,
I was just watching,
fucking hilarious.
Incredible.
So funny.
Best thing I've ever seen live.
Hands down. And because you can also, what is rare, you very rarely get in the cinema, which is one of the best experiences you have, which we talk about a lot when there's that shared joint crowd emotion towards something that you're seeing together live. And cinema can act kind of live, but not in the same way the theatre and musicals can.
It's true. Yeah.
Like the Book of Mormon, just fucking raucous laughter.
I loved
it. Was like seeing the In-Betweeners again.
Yeah, we'll keep bringing that up.
No, we will never stop bringing it up because it was and it was the litmus test of like actually sharing laughter in a crowd, which was... you're just being forced to laugh.
Part of me was thinking, what play do you think would work for people of my generation or people who are not like doing a theatre degree? Because to save theatre so that people can actually watch it. And I was like, the only thing I want to watch right now is a farce. I want to see a physical comedy.
Yeah,
like an hour and a half of people flying in out of doors. That's something that I still think would be worth spending the money, going out to theatre. I don't think I'd leave that being disappointed. Seeing, like a nan falling down the stairs and then it all, like a classic farce.
You're not happy if you watch anything and a nan doesn't fall down the stairs. But no, there's some out there. Because
that's what theatre's great at, because you watch everything in wide because it's a play.
Yeah.
So it means that comedically you have a great
but that's what
possibility for physical comedy.
Mischief, that group who do the plays that go wrong.
Yeah.
They've kind of nailed it.
Have you seen it?
I've seen clips of it.
Okay.
It looks really good.
I would go to one of them.
Yeah, no, it looks really good,
I'm
and that's
done with
they're
all
kind
these
of doing
fucking-
what
I don't want a serious
they're
one.
They're kind of doing what we're talking about in a way. It's playing with the form of the theatre, taking the piss out of it, the bravado of the actors and the director going into it and thinking that like how sincerely it's taken and how they think they're going to be delivering the most important message ever because they've all studied this play and think there's got a lot of important things to say, and everything just goes terribly wrong. It's funny.
I'm there for it. And there's been a lot of sketches about like drama GCSE performances, and stuff like that. And though it's now a done joke, theatre seems to have not got the memo. I wish people were thinking more of that. It's embarrassing when you're trying to show two sides of the story and one turns around and the light's on, and then he turns away and the other one turns around. Like that sort of staging, it's like you're too proud of yourself for doing something that's not that impressive.
Yeah.
Bookmark noise.
Bookmark boys.
The only bookmarks.
Cookmark coys.
That move the rook past my.
Queen to e4.
No, move the rook mark, boys, please.
What?
Who?
Buy them.
Buy them now. Bookmark boys. The
They're
only
on,
bookmarks.
They're on Instagram.
You need to can you just give me a sentence? Bookmark boys. The
Your slogan. Well, you have to say bookmark boys again. I had one, but
Bookmark boys.
no, now it's gone. No. Okay, just ask it again.
Bookmark boys.
The only bookmarks in town. The bookmark that make you feel good.
Buy them now.
Or they'll run out. Stock's low.
They're sold out.
They're sold out. Sorry, you missed a chance. Please don't go on the website. It's crashed. I was having a conversation with Adam, who
That's
I think
unlike you.
That's odd, isn't it? I think everyone is aware of Adam's existence by now. He's our roommate, and I am friends with his brother as well. He came down for the weekend. I had a nice little one-on-one time with him, which allowed me to dive deep into the psyche of.
He listens to the pod, I think.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, we listen to this right now. Yeah. So I'm going to mince my words, and he. It's interesting to dive down into the psyche of a very fascinating man.
Sure.
And I think this story sums him up quite well.
Yeah.
At school,
So this is our housemate's brother.
Yeah. At school, he, I think it was probably sixth form. So I think he would have been about 16, 17, or maybe around that time. He was a very warm child.
Already funny.
So he wouldn't really feel the cold as much as everyone else, right? So he would often come into school without wearing a jacket or a blazer
Because he's warm.
because he runs hot.
And
the kid runs hot.
So they're growing up in Blackpool. I mean, that's the north. That's the freezing waste.
Yeah, blanket cold sometimes there. He runs hot. He goes into school when people expect him to be wearing a jacket or a blazer, and he isn't.
He's not wearing
He isn't. What happens next? He builds up a reputation as the kid that never wears a blazer or a jacket, right?
Yeah.
Now, this happens for a fair few amount of months. There's some talk generated within the classroom, around the playground, this kind of thing. Oh, Ryan doesn't wear a jacket. He's the guy, and they're astonished that he's not wearing a jacket because of how cold it is. Now, this happens for such a long time that the reputation builds up to the extent that Ryan doesn't want to wear a jacket even when he wants to wear a jacket because he doesn't want the attention that he'll get when he gets back into school. Because the act of him putting on a jumper or a jacket or a blazer is going to be too big for him to deal with. So,
because it goes against his brand.
Because
of the lack of brand
with him,
consistency.
it's not that it goes against his brand. He's just like, I can't be bothered to deal with it. Like he would wake up looking at piss, and he was like, the worst times about it when it was like pissing down with rain.
Yeah.
And he would sit in science class drenched, just because he'd wear a white shirt, and he'd walk to school. He'd walk to school getting pissed down on with rain, and would then sit in the science class with a sodden, wet fucking shirt trying to get through his exercises. But he'd prefer that to making a meal of it
days.
because there was
Those
those are the worst
That's
days.
the funniest
He was
thing.
like, those are the worst days.
Those are the
When it was pissing down with rain, those were fucking terrible. Those were the worst. So
Was that on Friday?
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I asked him what's the percentage of times that throughout the year that you'd want to be wearing a jacket, but that you couldn't. and he said about 5%, and I've bumped that up to a more realistic 10%.
Yeah.
In the cold winters, it's like, surely you're going to be wearing a jacket every day, surely. He was saying, because he does run. I did forget that he runs hot.
He runs hot.
He runs hot. This all sparks because I met him. It was freezing, and he was just wearing a t-shirt.
He runs hot.
But he doesn't run that hot anymore. So.
And also, it doesn't matter if you run hot if it's raining.
If it's raining, you don't run dry, do you? So he then tells me that it got to such an extent that he was walking to school one day when it was freezing and slightly raining, and on his way to school, a car pulls up next to him, and it's a couple in there.
Get in
the van. He then went missing for 2 weeks.
I've heard you run hot.
I've heard you run hot. No. He pulled a car. He's walking to school one day. A car pulls in, and it's a very sweet looking couple, and they roll down the window and say, hiya, we've got you this. It was a fucking jacket. This stranger couple that he never met, had seen him walk into school in the freezing cold without a jacket every day, and bought him a jacket because they thought he was from poverty or neglect, and they couldn't afford a jacket.
That's amazing.
So he had to then decline the jacket
and say, no, it's my...
And imagine being that guy.
He goes, no, I run hot.
No, I run hot. You get it. No, imagine being the guy that has to say, no, this is a choice. Two strangers think because of your life, think because of your life decisions that you're from abject poverty. Because of your life decisions, they think you're from abject poverty, and you have to say, no, this is just my lifestyle.
Yeah.
Don't give in to peer pressure, kids. If you're cold, put a jacket on.
That's the lesson of the story. But we all do crazy things, to fit in.
I don't think crazy constitutes. There's something beyond crazy, which is not wearing a jacket in pissing, freezing cold crazy weather for 3 years.
Yeah,
could have been 3, at least 2, maybe 1.
Yeah, no, that's our Ryan. I know also Ryan. I don't get to see him that regularly, but I had a very harsh line of question that made him incredibly uncomfortable when I was actually trying to bond. Because I kept grilling him about how he read 210 books in a year. Because he read 210 books in a year, which is mental, all right? And then I was telling him it was mental, and he was like, he found it uncomfortable because I kind of had him, I was drunk, and I had him against the wall of the pub, and I was shouting.
You do that too often.
Yeah, and I was leaning, and I was shouting, and I was like, so what? And I just wanted to run through it, because I was just like, and then he said audiobooks. I was like, well, they don't count, do they? Bit of fun. But he seemed to take everything I said like it was an attack, when in fact I was being...
Was he drunk? Yes,
it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell with him.
Yeah.
Because he runs sober. So
he runs hot, man. If you attack him, he's going to be ready to come back.
210 books in a year. Okay.
If you met him, you'd be like... If you knew him properly, you'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. But
this is a man who gets up at like 3:30 a.m. to watch all of the Ashes that are in Australia.
Yeah. Still. Quite a few people do that.
Not as religiously. Ryan only watches cricket and reads books.
Okay. Yeah. You with the amount of time, you do the math. There's not much time.
But you're thinking someone is motivated about specific forms of entertainment. I can see a man who can read that many books.
But I guess part of me is like, I get so much cleverer when I read the first 30 pages of a book every 4 months, which is how I read.
I think it's more that you think you do.
Well, it's more... it's like, people who are anorexic, when they go back to having regular eating patterns, they put on weight much more easily.
You do the sort of signal.
What was this?
It's the coughing like a code.
No. If you're anorexic, so like you starve yourself when you're a teenager, often when they get into more healthy eating habits, their body has built a metabolism where they'll grab at any sort of food.
Yeah.
That's like me with informational books.
Yeah.
That's like me with books.
So you actually take on more information than you've read?
No. Because
I'm going to fault your logic.
No, because then that's the same with the analogy. You can't take on more than you've eaten, can you? So the analogy is still...
No, but you get more... It manages to energise your body more. That's what metabolism does. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
but you
change,
can't.
it doesn't
You
change
can't
the source.
physically gain more knowledge than you've read.
You can't physically get more from the food than there is in the
so
food.
when you read 30 pages of a book,
I'm just saying, my body is like so starved for.
once it reads about different capitals around the world, it's like I know everything.
It starts firing everything.
I think that might be called confirmation bias, Horatio.
If I read 10 pages, it's just like, oh my god, we haven't had shit like this. We haven't had this nutrients for so long, and they're like firing it.
And I
to
think
all
it causes
the
a rush.
dusty parts of my brain.
It might be more that you think you're smarter after reading 30 pages of a book. Do you not think?
Because it's like me at uni. It's like me at uni when I'd always read like.
And then you wanted to shut up about it.
It really because I have a lower attention span. I just struggle at reading. And for uni, we'd be set, 4 readings a week. And that's kind of, to be honest, that's sort of the main bulk of uni is the stuff you read.
In humanities.
Yeah, that's basically...
That's essentially it.
That's essentially... you have to write about it, but fundamentally...
that comes a lot more rarely than the reading.
It's the picked out reading.
You write about what you read.
Fundamentally, the reading's sort of the key part of humanities.
No, not even. You read, then you talk about what you've read, and then you write about what you've read. That's all uni is for humanities. So if you don't do the fucking reading, you're not really doing anything.
And I'd so rarely do the reading, or when I can actually bring myself to do it, because I was very good at blagging as well. But whenever I'd do it, it would change my life.
And you'd attempt to change everyone else's around you from it. The amount of times we just have like 2 a.m. chats.
I still think of the 4 essays I read at uni.
I still think of them because you wouldn't shut up about them every time you did the reading.
Because imagine what else I could. Because they were always randomly picked, by the way. It was when I could mentally prepare myself to read. It wasn't. This looks like this is something that might interest me. So
it was just maybe you just had a good sleep the night before and like had a good coffee. You're like, I think I can stomach it today.
So and even with my essays, like you have to have a certain amount of readings, and I'd pull quotes without reading. I would just.
Oh, that's a classic though.
But I mean,
that's a classic.
I actually once got a high 2-1 with only 4 references.
How long was the essay?
3,000 words.
Okay, yeah. That is good.
But I feel that's bad marking because it was a new guy in who didn't last very long. Because you're meant to have you're encouraged to have about 25 references.
Just chuck more in, man.
Yeah, and one of mine wasn't.
Cut the books.
One of the 4 references wasn't a book. It was a code which we were studying at Hayes Code. So it was like 10 rules, and I just quoted one because it's what the essay was about.
Well, that is also the skill of uni, to appear smarter than you are, and to appear like you've done more work than you have done.
Exactly, but But speaking of weight, I think I'm gaining weight
again.
Has
it not been a continual process, or have you been ebbing and flowing?
No, it's been continued since I've noticed it, but it feels very much. I'm sorry for the crude example, but it does feel very much like. Here we go. Feels like Russia are amassing on the border.
That is, I thought it was going to be a bodily, like a grotesque bodily example, not a very insincere reference to Ukraine.
No, it's not insincere. It's an excellent analogy where they're building up outside, and I feel I'm right now in the stage where
your defences aren't ready to back them off.
No one thinks it's going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
You haven't got enough anti-missile systems.
I haven't been fat my entire life.
Yeah.
Why would I stop being fat now?
Right.
And it's like, okay, it's a bit worrying.
Yeah.
It seems like they're building up. They couldn't possibly. It'd be mad.
Sure. There is a significant troop build-up around here.
But it'd be mad because we're not ready for war.
They must be prepared. They won't do it.
It's wishful thinking in the way that Europe wasn't ready for it because we've had World War II and we just don't want it to happen. So in many ways, we put our head in the sand and just think...
And in the age of nuclear warfare, we're thinking there's never going to be another world war kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I guess a nuclear war is that I get so fat, I get so fat, I die of like a heart attack or heart failure or get type 2 diabetes or have a gastric belt.
I suppose so.
Would that be in this analogy? Would nuclear
No, I don't know. I don't think it would. No, nuclear war in this analogy is your psychology, is you saying it's not going to happen, because it's the reason why Europe thinking a world war will never happen again, because no one wants to push the button.
No one wants me to be super fat.
You're being quite superficial with this metaphor. But no. I think it's apt.
I think it's very apt. So and I just think I'm very much in this stage now where there's nothing to worry about now.
Where's all the
no
fat
one's
going?
died.
It's
going to my arse.
I know. Well, you were fucking lucky as well because you needed some padding.
No. So I'm very happy with my new arse. Don't get me wrong. And I actually like. But I like being a bit softer. I'm getting the beginning of love handles and a tiny bit of the bottom of the belly, and because it's not, my arms are still skinny. I don't want to have, the ET look. That's the worst. Where you've got that kind of belly and then you've got
skinny arms.
Yeah. And so, as to people who do very little exercise, even though I know you've run 8 times in the last 2 years, so I apologise for
Well, all in the last month. Rather
collectively, though.
I love how even when I pick up running again, I still do nothing whatsoever.
Yeah, but it hasn't made a physical difference to.
Yeah, because I'm not fat. You dick. Okay, I'm in good shape.
That's a lot. But he's still younger than me, so I'm still waiting for his metabolism to collapse.
Hence is why I'm running.
Yeah.
And it ain't gonna. I'm burning those calories up, man. Why do you not believe me?
Well, it just I see how. So I guess because I was lanky and I never had to think about it, and now it's the beginning of putting on weight, which I want to do. I just want to fill out a tiny bit with fat rather than I could fill out with muscle, but that takes a lot more. I'd rather just
fuck that, man.
I'd rather just kind of like I've always wanted to be a little bit less lanky, so I'd rather just put that in with fucking lard. Just fucking
pack it in with lard, yeah.
Like roof insulation.
This is the official advice of Boys Gone Wild, the men's mental and physical health podcast. Pack it in with lard.
Just pack it in with lard. You know roof insulation. Have you ever been in someone's attic when they've insulated it properly?
I was in someone's attic recently.
Did they have roof insulation?
They did. Yeah.
So it's that yellow padding. That's sort of what I'm doing now. It's just sort of padding my kind of thin.
So you think if I'm going to get fat, I might as well get fat everywhere?
Well, the dream would be to just have a nice protective layer of lard, just because I get very cold recently because I'm just fucking bony and lanky. So if I can just have another layer around me, that would be just nice to have a couple more. But then
I think this is called post-rationalisation. It sounds like post-rationalisation.
Yeah, and it's certainly.
You like running? Go on a run.
No, I'm still very physically fit. Okay.
Yeah, but you need to push off the fat.
I need to push off the fat,
which is you don't. It's not about being physically fit. It's about pushing off the fat, having a healthy lifestyle, not a mad health lifestyle. But that's why, and I know this is apparently I don't do it and it's a lie. 2 runs a week, that will do me.
I don't need a lecture from you about running.
I hate you.
I can't believe he's got a pair of running shoes and now he's singing
again,
from the rooftop.
It's not I go on runs. It's I have a pair of running shoes. It's never. You will never give it to me.
Happen.
I have not spoken about it that much. I have hardly ever spoken to it.
Would you recommend going on a run? Do you think it would be good for me?
When you say the phrase that I'm just trying to pack in the lard everywhere, I maybe think that isn't the best route to go down. Approaching your late 20s.
I feel like at the moment I'm just sort of slowly thumbing. I feel like I'm slowly thumbing Play-doh into a sock.
And that's what you want your body to be.
I'm slowly thumbing dough into a condom.
It might be satisfying to do. Doesn't mean you're going to be happy with the end result.
No, because it's like...
You want your body to look like a Play-doh in a sock. Is that what we're saying? What is going
just
on?
thumbing it in.
Yeah.
I guess...
And what is that when you just eat sausages? Is that when you're thumbing it in?
Thumbing it in. That's me. Just thumbing it. Yeah. Just pack it out. But yes, there's going to be a point where it stops becoming,
funny.
But I'm raising it now so that, if this podcast goes on 6 or 7 years, that many podcasts have done.
Yeah. Do you want to do like a Mac out of Always Sunny in Philadelphia where you kind of get rid of fat for a season?
He did that with complete...
Well, he did it on purpose.
He did it on purpose and he lost it and he's complete control of it.
Yeah.
Whereas
which actually seems a bit...
more mental. But also, mine wouldn't have control. It would be a slow death. It would be a disintegration. And part of me wants to record, as much as this podcast is an entertainment podcast, it's a light chat podcast, it's very much a thing of record. Me and Andrew both have very bad memories. I sometimes look back through old memories and I'm like, I remember that week because we've got every week down as a song. So I want it on record, me... Like commentators saying, I think World War III is going to happen. Yeah. I want to be that guy for my own weight gain. So I think I might be fat.
Well, this is the problem because fundamentally we are a duo,
Yeah.
and we've always said it would be fun if we were both fat.
Yeah.
Doesn't work if one of us is fat.
Does it not?
No.
What about Laurel and Hardy?
It doesn't work. And I think
Laurel and Hardy doesn't
If it's
work.
funnier for one of us to be fat, it's me, and you know that's true. And you know that's true. You know that's true. You know that's the truth. It doesn't work as well if you're fat. I'm the funnier fat one. So you can't do it, man.
Yeah, I feel
You
like
need
I feel your fatness would be rounder and tighter. Do you know what I mean? Like mine
Well,
is.
I'm not saying just for our characters as well.
Yeah, I can imagine because you're like hairless. I can imagine you having a tight little rounders.
A pert belly. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'd see it.
And
I'd see
then
it.
mine would just, I think I'd just be slobby. It'd just be fucking, you know,
Like,
just hanging off me.
hanging down. Skin hanging
jowly
down.
and fucking.
Like you kept mentioning when we were filming the other day.
Just jowly.
That was the first onset of you being fat. we were doing
the sketch that we filmed with the uncles,
Horatio.
where we have a wide shot and we're looking down.
Horatio kept saying, "Well, just do this angle where like your skin falls down, where your face falls down." I was like, "Horatio, my face doesn't my skin doesn't fall down on any angle." No. I do this where it like falls down. I was like, I'm not.
I'm gonna admit, when I started really realizing a change, like I have.
Was that an insecurity?
No, it's not an insecurity because I'm doing it more as I'm fascinated by this.
It's a social experiment.
It's more. The thing is, it's going to be me like looking through, you know, one of those boxes with gloves in them that scientists use when they're dealing with like radioactive shit.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm doing that, but it's to my
With
own
your own
body.
body, yeah.
So it's going to be like, wow, this is growing fast. And then 20 years go past and you're like, oh no, it's me. That's what's going to happen. Is I'm going to be like, this is fascinating. Look at it. Look how interesting. It has a mind of its own. And then, oh, it was me the whole time.
Do you ever think you process excuses via comedy?
But more importantly, one of the scariest moments in recent time is that
You can't
For
see
the
your feet anymore.
for the first time, when I jump and land, not all of me hits the ground at the same time. Okay, and I've never felt that before. Because it's a very light layer of fat that I've introduced.
You feel a bounce.
I notice when I land,
Yeah.
and I've been lanky and bony skinny my whole life. Too much so. No, you don't. You definitely don't. It's a very subtle thing, but I just notice when I land, it's like not all of me. And it's only the beginning. It's not a big thing, but it's the
That is
start.
hilarious. Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
Not all of me.
Can you talk me through the moment you realise that?
No, because you want it to be really embarrassing. You want
No, I don't. No, I don't. Because I want to imagine. I want to picture. Because obviously you're not going to shout about it. It will be a very internal thing.
I think I was
and
doing.
Your face just.
I think I was
goes,
doing a bit,
Yeah.
a physical bit for BB. I was
Yeah.
doing some act out,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it very quickly stopped being lighthearted and being like.
It's
yeah.
great when you realise something terrible in the middle of a bit. Because you have.
I can't remember what the bit
And the
was. but I'm
smile
pretty
just off your
sure
face goes.
I was doing some sort of skit for some hilarious, pithy,
Yeah.
offbeat.
And then
routine
suddenly
I
you're
was
like,
doing.
what was that? And baby's laughing. Like, what are you laughing about?
You laughing because I'm
Because
fat?
I'm fat, are you?
I'm a fat piece of shit.
Well,
we
it's
did-
really exciting. I mean,
I'm thrilled.
we're ready to. Look, the metabolism is going to slow
Yeah.
down, and it's slowed down for.
I mean, I exercise. I also do football once a week, and I have done for the last 2-3 years. That
you don't
seems
do it
to
every
not.
week.
Sadly, because I can't get the ins anymore because it's too.
Yeah.
But for a long period, I'd say 70% of the time I'm doing it. So,
So there's something.
and that's seemingly not enough. I mean,
What-
obviously, I could change my lifestyle, but
Playing football not once a week, yeah. Seemingly that's not enough.
And the problem is that I see 30-year-olds and I look at their schlubby bodies and I'm like, the amount of work they have to do to look like shit, and that's like best case scenario.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is that I know what a 30-year-old body is because I'm hanging out with a lot of 30-year-olds because of comedy, and I'm like, look, you're going to the gym and you can't eat bread just to look like shit, to stop yourself looking like real shit. Do you know what I mean? And I know that's coming, and that's the funny, strange tragedy of the modern man.
Yeah.
The modern male, when you back in the Stone Age when you were hunting the whole time, I think everyone looked pretty fucking trim. You didn't have any flat, but
Yeah,
now with
yeah.
the modern life, just to fucking
Yeah,
and
of
because
course,
everything's been objected with fucking horse cum and pig shit. You know?
That's the real fattener in our diets.
It's the horse cum.
That's the highest reason for
the modern,
adult obesity is horse cum in our diets.
It's the Western diet.
Why are they putting horse cum in yogurts? Because they can get away with it. Because it's the consistency.
Because it's the consistency. So yeah, and I just think the modern man's body is schlubby.
It's also a fucking travesty that everything in our body that's good for us is just annoying. Like I was the most frustrating thing, and I'm just talking about recent events in my life here. Here we fucking go.
It sounds like it's gonna be an annoying thing he's gonna say.
No, it's not, right? Because I'll reiterate this point.
I just hope you get fat.
Yeah, I know you do. You hope I get fat more than anyone, and you hate that I've started running. You hate it.
I don't hate it. I was the one encouraging you.
And now,
I hate that you're fucking
encouraging me.
I'm like, when was the last time you exercised?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's encouragement. I think that's belittling. But so no, it's the travesty of the modern human condition is that evolution hasn't caught up with ourselves. So the reason why we like fatty foods is because it gives us energy, and when food was sparse, we needed that energy to survive. But now food is everywhere. We still have the same taste, so we're not drawn to salad. We're drawn to KFC, which is frustrating.
Okay, don't have a go.
I'm not having a go at the Colonel.
Not me.
I mean, you, no. But, no, and it's just frustrating because he's like shoving it down salads. Just like, why can't this be? Because if it was back in the day when we're shoveling down the meat of a deer, that's good for us. And we enjoy, like how we enjoy a KFC now, we would have enjoyed a KFC back then, but we were like, this is really healthy because we fucking need it because there wasn't enough food.
Yeah, fuck. That must have tasted like so incredible.
It's incredible. No, it tastes as good as better. Like when you're really hungry and have an amazing takeaway. That's it. But then it's the same, for them, it's the same as having a salad for us because they don't know when they're going to eat again next.
Yeah.
Which is fucking... And our evolution hasn't caught up. And it's even just in the body. The most frustrating thing about going for a run is the warming up and the cooling down of it.
Yeah.
So our muscle, because we're not constantly on the move, you have to put so much energy into not feeling not feeling terrible the next day.
Yeah.
And you're just there for like 15 minutes doing a warm-up. And then when you get back, all you want to do is lie on the sofa and eat something. But you have to fucking stretch.
Yeah, and it's also...
And it's like there are so many obstacles in the way of just being healthy. And it's the stuff that you don't realise, which is the most frustrating.
Apart from maybe meat, which I reckon was still pretty good back then, everything else was fucking, would fucking taste like shit to us now. Cause
what like raw lion?
No, because you cook your lion, wouldn't you?
Well,
you got fire.
There must have been a time they didn't. Yeah, but they didn't before we discovered fire. Well, stomachs were used to eating raw meat.
But that, I reckon we were a bit more monkey then, weren't we?
Probably more monkey than human.
Yeah.
Well,
I reckon we discovered
humans
fire.
were around a long time before fire was discovered, I presume, but I have no idea.
I genuinely don't know that. That's interesting.
I think, no, we used to eat raw meat.
Yeah, we definitely used to eat raw meat. And also, we're built to eat bone marrow, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's why it tastes fucking amazing. It's like one of the best things you can have in a restaurant, yeah.
Incredible.
They don't do it at KFC yet, though.
They don't do it at KFC. Well, you can find ways.
Oh, man, I really want a KFC now. This is bad.
I had it at that restaurant that's like the bone marrow place. It's called Bone Marrow Place.
It's odd. It's a Michelin-style restaurant.
But it is interesting that it's only recently reintroduced into like fine dining or whatever. And it's weird that
the place that was on Bourdain's thing.
Yeah.
Really?
Place. Yeah.
How was it?
It was
incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah,
incredible. Because it's like they had the bone and then you scoop it out and then you have it on a lovely bit of toast with parsley and a bit of salt and that's it. Just insane. Perfect, yeah. But we're built for it.
I've never had bone marrow, so.
Well, you have.
I've lived it through other people.
You have when you've had because when you're gnawing at bones, I'm sure a bit of bone marrow goes in there. You haven't had it served as a delicacy. I guess so,
yeah. But I do like on the bone meat.
There's a period of like millions of years where we were just surviving on the African savannah.
Yeah.
Just when lions had killed something, just going in. We're like the only ones who can get bone marrow. That's our special skill. Really, is bone marrow. That's like our thing. Everyone's got their own thing.
Yeah.
Humans, when we were an animal, our big thing was that we had the dexterity to get bone marrow.
You rock up to once, all the lions have finished with whatever, and they just there's nothing left. You think there's nothing left? Watch this.
Millions of years.
All the lions are going. What are these guys doing?
Millions of years.
Watch this, you cunts! Snap the bone.
What? For millions
Bloody
of
good
years.
as well.
We've been super intelligent for 8,000 years. for millions of years, we're the bone marrow guys.
I mean, the bone marrow guys.
We've got we got loads of shit, all right. But when we were just an animal, Homo sapiens walking the plains of Africa, we were just the bone marrow.
The sloppy seconds guy. It's the sloppy seconds guy.
That was our thing. Cheetahs can run really fast.
I love the idea of just a human tribe just walking up to this car.
Hyenas have the strongest bite in the wild. We're the bone marrow guys.
And we should be proud of our heritage.
And we should go back to the bone marrow guys. Oh shit, I need to go.
What time is it?
It's
at 6.
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, go.
Yeah. All right. Thanks very much for listening, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.